And when the time comes to let it go, let it go.
I feel panic, and you might too. Finding meaning and purpose as a privileged American 20-something can be difficult. Faced with unlimited options, and the knowledge that I live at the expense of others complicates the matter, but we must move forward. Death hangs over me. It hangs over you. I don't fear the reaper, but he's there, and it's foolish to forget that. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. In my final semester of college, I am coming to terms with the realness and intensity of existence, and in doing so, I seize an opportunity to live at a retirement community and immerse myself in the culture. If there's existential help to be gotten, surely it's from my elders, those forced to look at their imminent passing. I arrived at Meadowlark Hills Retirement Community with an avoided question. What does it take to die well? In a country where death is battled as the enemy, 2 residents, my roommate, and I picked apart this question, and through staring at death, I heard the universe whisper a soothing truth. Why is death an avoided topic of conversation?
I think because a lot of people have a great uncertainty about what's going to happen after death.
Our culture views death as something that's adversarial, something that's to be defeated or postponed as long as possible, not something that's to be understood or embraced.
I suppose it's denial. We don't want to think that someday we'll go away. We have it so good here, why would we want to move on?
Perhaps the deepest reason why we are afraid of death is because we do not know who we are. We believe in a personal, unique, and separate identity, but if we dare to examine it, we find that this identity depends entirely on an endless collection of things to prop it up. Our name, our biography, our partners, family, home, job, friends, credit cards. It is on their fragile and transient support that we rely for our security. So when they're all taken away, will we have any idea of who we really are?
How marvelously sickening it was for me to realize that quote was about me. Do you realize it's about you too? Angst from that quote led me to literature, looking for what I could invest meaning into that will never be taken away from me. Theologies and philosophies harp on impermanence. What is born will die. What has been gathered will be dispersed. They compel us to realize impermanence and find meaning and purpose in something greater than ourselves. I began discussing the philosophy of dying well with my friends at Meadowlark.
I'm under the impression that suffering is caused by people's inability to accept impermanence and relinquish their grasp of holding on to things tightly in their life.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing permanent in existence as far as we know. There's always change. I accept change.
This idea that you are a self that will continue forever, that you are this soul that will be in existence for eternity. It creates an infatuation with the self and a singular focus on the self.
To live in this world, you must be able to do 3 things. To love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing that your whole life depends upon it. And when it's time to let it go, let it go.
I had arrived at an answer to what it takes to die well. Coming to terms with impermanence will inevitably challenge your ego and the singular focus we have on ourselves, which leads to an ability to not cling to things that will one day go away, and instead cling to love. Now consider this. Why can't this philosophy be applied to living well instead of just dying well? It can. And when I considered it, I saw the application of the philosophy everywhere, especially in people around me.
One day, Lauren gifted me this cryptic quote.
Know what you are doing, love what you are doing, and believe in what you are doing.
This gift applied to what I was coming to terms with in a profound way. Know what you are doing would entail realizing impermanence and knowing the cycle of birth and death. Love what you are doing is a reference to the best course of action in the face of impermanence. And believe in what you are doing, being all right with impermanence and using it as a tool to create a wonderful reality.
Difference is made when one learns to embrace impermanence. When this happens, suddenly the whole world can open up to you. So the mountains you've been meaning to climb, you'll climb them. The girl you've been meaning to call or to love, you'll love her. Life will be relished, but not grasped, because when it's grasped and you lose these things, it is extremely painful, depressing, and it seems meaningless because the idea was that they would be permanent and held on to forever.
Vasily, I was looking in my memory writings, and this poem I've kept made me think of you. Happiness is to be found along the way, not at the end of the road, for then the journey is over and it's too late. Today, this hour, this minute is the day, the hour, the minute for each of us to sense the fact that life is good, with all of its trials and troubles, and perhaps more interesting because of them.
In my semester spent at Meadowlark Hills, I learned 3 things that changed the way I look at the circumstance of my existence. 1. When talking about dying well, I actually meant living well. 2. I am you and you are me, and our journeys run parallel. Whether young or old, it matters not. We are all essentially trying to live and die well as one. 3. Nothing is permanent here, and that's all right. So what now for this 23-year-old going through an existential crisis? I don't have an answer, but the universe gave me a choice to live and love passionately, but when the time comes to let go, to let go.